internationally known, the man himself, Mr. Patrick Phillips, the change agent, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here.
Patrick, what's up, man?
I know we in the studio and they can't see the handshake, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Patrick, who? Tell us a little bit about you, man. And, we're going to close this out, man. Tell us a little bit about Patrick, the change agent Phillips, man.
I'm a social worker. I'm an educator. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I speak at colleges, high schools, places of worship. I'm a mentor. And my whole story started in South Central LA, man, single parent home. When I was about 8 years old, I remember sitting in the juvenile courtroom and they were telling my dad that he needed to get some services or else they're going to issue a protective order. And my dad said, I ain't going. And our life changed from that point because we went from like a two-parent home doing okay to now we're on food stamps and Section 8 and that type of thing in South Central LA in the 80s and the 90s where the gangs were running rampant. So basically, man, that's my life story right there. And what happened was I moved to, when I graduated high school, got an associate's degree in Cali. And then I moved to Atlanta, man, because I said I needed to change the scenery. Okay. I had a really good friend of mine. He got murdered on his doorstep. And I said, I got to get a change of scenery. And I moved to Atlanta about 12 years ago, and things have been going good ever since then.
Wow. So any comparison to the ATL in South Central LA other than, what do they eat in LA?
We got it all, bro.
I know, man, but I didn't eat anything because it's so expensive.
Man, you got the money. Stop playing.
I think I had... is it
Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles? Man, you gotta go to Roscoe's.
I know, man, but I went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, man, and ordered the food and didn't look at the menu. When she brought the tab back, bro, I have never in my life washed so many dishes, man. So,
man, this guy right here, tell me he ain't washed nobody dishes.
But LA, I've been to LA, man. LA, they move different in LA. So, and I tell people all the stories about, how to rock in LA. And I got educated on LA before I ever went to LA. About when you get to LA, this is how this goes. Okay. And we all know who runs LA. We all know LA is a city. South Central LA is a city that's about business, as y'all say. We're about our business. Compare LA, man, and the ATL, man. Any comparison?
Man, you want to know what's crazy? Like, people think, they say, man, how could you move to Atlanta from Southern California? And to me, it wasn't that big of a jump. And let me tell you why. Like, my sister played college ball, and she played in Ohio where it snowed. Snow. Right. So I couldn't do nothing like that. In Atlanta, to me, it's got the best of both worlds because you can get that city life if you're looking for it. You can chill if you want. And then the thing that I really liked about Atlanta, man, was I actually got a chance to experience seasons. Okay. Because in Cali, you don't have seasons. Right. You know what I'm saying? Out here, you see the leaves fall off the trees.
Now, you got to be careful what you say about Atlanta, man, because they're already full. So, don't, listen,
people
man.
People keep moving in, too.
Man, I'm just glad that they accepted little old me. I know how to move in Atlanta, so don't say Atlanta need nothing. Just be quiet.
Yeah, don't come here.
We're seasonal.
Y'all gonna love it out here.
Because they will send you home here, man. So but man, you're doing some amazing work, man.
I appreciate that.
Tell us a little bit about, before we get into your books and all this, man. Tell us a little bit about your day-to-day, your everyday profession.
Yeah, I'm a college instructor. I'm a dad and a husband, all that good stuff. So all of those things are kind of intertwined. And so on a typical day, man, I wake up, help my son get ready for school. The missus drops him off, and then I head over to work and teach some classes, and then when that's all said and done, I might do some doctoral coursework, and then it's business-related stuff, whether I'm reaching out to people for engagements or, my son and I, we recently came out with 2 books, so I'm doing a lot around that. And then in the afternoons, man, I pick my son up. We go to swim practice. He's getting his swim on. He's the black Mike Phelps. I'm claiming it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? He's on the swim team.
I get this question a lot, man. Why is it so important to you to make a difference? Like, why is that? That's because it seems like you got the nice little family with the picket fence in the back and in the front, and the dog, and the dog and the cat gets along. I mean, you seem like you live that life, man. But why is this type of work that you do that's interesting to you? Why are you so interested in helping people?
Man, because there was always people when I was coming up that did little small things that made a world of difference. I was talking to Riverdale High School yesterday, and I was talking to some their mentor program there, And I was telling the brothers how I remember when my high school basketball coach helped me tie my tie.
Wow.
And 1 minute, 2 minute thing, but it was like life changing because I had never tied a tie before. And the reason why we needed to wear the tie was we were in the playoffs for basketball, and they always wanted us to dress up for the playoffs. And I was struggling with that tie, man. I was fumbling.
And I want to pause right there, man, and I want to educate you on something. Well, not educate you on something because you're the man. I mean, you are the man.
But, we all learn from each other.
but see, mentoring and teaching and empowering is if you keep doing something every day. That's why I teach consistency. What happens is when you're doing something on a consistent basis, you are teaching something that's going to mark them for life. Something as simple as a tie.
Bro.
Think about all the people that you taught how to tie a tie.
The residual impact.
So, and what I see when I see brothers such as yourself, man, when you show up somewhere, and whether you're speaking, whether you're with your son, with your wife, when you're standing in the presence of a group of individuals, your presence is 90% of your work. They can just look at you and say, wow, I got a chance, I can do this. So I want to applaud you on that, man. So
thank you, I appreciate that.
When you do some mentoring. How long have you been mentoring?
I had my, when I was teaching at the middle school level, back up a little bit. When I graduated from college, I worked for the Department of Family and Children Services.
That's called DFACS.
DFACS.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. And I used to work in the foster care unit. So when we would remove kids, I would work with those kids. And I did that for like 3 years before I became a certified educator teaching at the middle school. And when I got to the middle school, I formed a mentor group there because it was that important to me to mentor. And we used to tie ties. We used to do physical activities. We would invite the dads in. So every school, I'm proud to say that at every school, and that's why I came to your thing, and I was super impressed when I came.
And I appreciate that, man. And we got, after the break, man, we want to just expound on that. And we want to talk about all these books you've written, man. Stay tuned to Next Level Radio Show.
Appreciate it.
For those who are just tuning in, thank you for tuning in to the Next Level Radio Show, hosted by yours truly, Gary Davis, founder of Next Level Boys Academy, executive director of the Next Level Empowerment Center. Next Level Boys Academy is an innovative mentoring program that mentors young men ages 5 to 25. To follow us on Instagram, go to @NextLevelBoysAcademy, Facebook, Next Level Boys Academy. You can also visit us online at www.nextlevelboysacademy.com, where we're changing the generation of young men one community at a time. You know, we started a radio show so that we can get our message out to the nations as to some of the great things we're doing in Next Level Boys Academy. We have after school summer camp. We have a Friday mailroom program. We have a Saturday leadership and diversion program, which is something that you have to actually come see for yourself. In the studio, we have the man himself, Mr. Patrick Phillips, the change agent. He's doing some dynamic work from South Central LA. Came to Atlanta. So Patrick, man, tell us real quick, man. You wrote several books. Tell us a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, the first book started when I was teaching at the middle school level, and I'm sure you know this. I just would see young men making decisions that were just not wise, and a lot of times they'll say, "Man, why they won't pull their pants up, or why are they doing that?" And they complain and they don't try to do something. And I knew that I couldn't speak and mentor every kid in the world, so I said, "What can I do?" And I wrote my first book, which was Decisions: A Young Man's Guide to Avoiding the Traps. And it did well, and a lot of people, it inspired them, and then I just kind of continued to go from there, and I came out with a book called Change 101, Average is Crowded, and then after that I wrote a book for first-generation college students called The Intentional Student, 17 Strategies to Survive and Thrive in College from Day One.
That's what's up, man.
And then I wrote a curriculum, and then my latest book has kind of been like going up the ladder, kind of.
Right.
I wrote a book for single mothers who are raising sons called Don't Just Love Your Son, Raise Him.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, man. Don't just love your son, raise him. And you got this anger and control and out of control. Man, this is some good stuff, man. Tell us a little bit about this book. What inspired you to write this book?
That's a good question. Basically, I heard the brothers speaking earlier that they do a lot of work with the mental thing, the mental health, and that kind of thing. My background is in social work. And one of the foundational principles of social work is, meet people where they are, but then also you got to have a holistic approach. So all of my books have been dealing with just the youth, but they go home. And if I don't do something to try to develop the home, all the work that I'm doing at the school or at the mentor program, it may not transfer to the home environment. So I wanted to come up with something that would empower mothers many of them are doing a great job, but there's no such thing as too much of a good thing. And I wanted to give them some tips and strategies from my personal experiences growing up, being a teacher, a social worker, and that kind of thing.
Okay, man. It's where can they find this, man? I mean, this is it's not it's not a real thick book, which is good. And I see all the titles the subtitles you have over here, man. So do you tell us a little bit about these subtitles, man. Do you talk about each one of these in the book?
Yeah, so basically what you'll see on the front of the cover are things that young men experience or things that you'll hear people say to young men. So you'll hear things like man of the house, man up, out of control, emotional, take it like a man, discipline, responsible, leave the nest, broken man, sacrifice, frustration. So all of these different things are things that I talk about in the book, but how I do it is I don't tell people what to think. Each of the chapters is a question to the mothers themselves.
So when you write books, so is this from a theory standpoint, or is this from your experiences of working with young people, from what you've heard and all that? Like, how do you gather your information that you share, that you write in these books?
That's dope. That's a good question because it's funny because they get a little bit of everything from all the things I've done.
Okay.
From working with defects to being a teacher, from growing up in that situation to being a mentor to someone who speaks. So I combine all of those experiences, and then me being a college student as well. I'm trying to mix it all together because what I found is that sometimes people are so knowledgeable, but they don't know how to reach the people.
Right.
Or there's some people, they dumb down the message so much that people can't understand it.
Right.
So trying to find a healthy medium.
So, do you do any type of groups per se with mothers raising sons, or is this something that you send your message through your books? So how do you engage with that?
It's through the books right now because, like I said, I'm working on my doctorate.
Okay.
And it's eating up a lot of time.
Right.
It's killing me. But I'm actually going to have, and I didn't bring my calendar with me, but I'm partnering with the YMCA and then also the Atlanta City Library to do 2 workshops around the book.
Okay.
Where we're going to do, go through some of the things in the book, and then it's going to be free and open to the public. Because that's what I'm looking to do, is to just try to get out there in the community and reach the people where they are and make a difference.
Hey, man, you're doing a great job, man. After the break, man, you got The Adventures of Little Jam, man, a book that your son actually wrote.
Yes, sir.
And we want to hear a little bit more about this. So in the studio, we have Patrick Phillips, the Change Agent. Stay tuned to Next Level Radio Show. Phone lines are open, 678-613-5857. 678-613-5857. We still on. Man, it's been a great show tonight, man. We've talked about everything. I mean, you name it, we've talked about it. In the studio, we have Mr. Patrick Phillips, the Change Agent. His brother is doing some dynamic work in the ATL. And I try to be careful about who I invite on the show. I'll watch you when you think I'm not watching. I research, and I trust his work. I think he's genuine. I think he's sincere. And I'm hoping that he steals some of my concepts. Like, I'm not that type of person that I don't try to share what I do, because we need 1 million next levels. We need 1 million Patricks. Well, we need 1 million people to do some of the work Patrick is doing. We don't need no more Patricks. We already got enough. But Patrick, tell us, man, your son.
Yeah.
Your son wrote a book, man. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. He's written 3 actually. And his latest one is The Adventures of Little Jam, The Amazing Dinosaurs. And it's about him and his friends checking out dinosaurs. But the whole book thing started because we were at Pond City Market. We were riding our bikes on the trail, and we passed the 044 skate park. And my son was like, Dad, I want to skate. And I was like, bro, I ain't never skated in my life. Like, what you talking? I'm 30-something years old. I ain't skating nothing.
Right.
So, but we did. And I went out. I spent a lot of money on skateboards and elbow pads and stuff. And we were falling and hurting ourselves so bad, man. And my son said, I want to quit. And I was like, yeah. But then I thought about it, that if I let him, what kind of a message am I sending long
Right.
term? So we continued and we persevered, and that's what our first book is about. It's about a story between a father and a son. It's about perseverance. It's about grit. It's about not giving up. And something funny happened from it. In addition to us writing the book, it was a way for us. A lot of people said that they haven't seen books with the fathers in the book, a children's book, and then it's been a way for us to bond.
Wow.
In an area that I didn't think we
And
could
how old
do.
is he?
He's 7.
Wow. How old is his book?
His new book just came out a week and a half ago. The dinosaur book just came out, but his other books, The Adventures of Little Jam, The Skate Park, and The Adventures of Little Jam, The Planet's Blast Off came out 6 months ago, and Skate Park a year ago.
How does that make you feel, man? Knowing that your son wrote a book, like, I see you just smiling, man. Like, wow, dude, like, yeah. But how does that make you feel, man? I mean, that's got to be like self-gratification behind that, man, because you modeled that behavior.
Yeah, it feels good, man, because my thing is I'm just trying to do what I didn't have. I didn't have a father, really, and I'm not trying to give my son. Some people think they want to give their kids everything they didn't have. I'm more so interested in exposing him to things that I didn't get a chance to get exposed to.
Okay.
So by us doing the books, like, it's been fun. It's a way for us to bond, and then he's making his money. I don't touch his money.
Wow.
So he makes his money.
Wow.
And we put it in his savings account.
Right. What is Patrick Phillips' ultimate goal, man? I mean, you getting all this education, and what's your ultimate goal, man?
Good question. Really, I would want to eventually have some type of nonprofit organization doing something either around post-secondary education or literacy, something around that eventually. But really, brother, it's like doing things like what you're doing, being able to have like influence, not so that I can say, "Ooh, look at my car I drive," but I want to be able to pick up a phone call and make something happen for somebody, or if I need to, I can make a donation of money to get some things done.
Right.
I want to get to a point where I can have influence at a positive level.
Right. Well, you're definitely on a good path, man. And my advice to you is to just do a lot of what you love to do, and don't focus on the money. Money chases opportunities. And money chases, and it's not about the money, man, because you got to think, this organization is almost 10 years old. I've never received a grant, never applied for one,
Wow.
not even interested in one.
And it's the thing, I went to his thing. I didn't know what I was going to expect. I really didn't know.
The Saturday program.
Yes.
Okay.
I went to the Saturday program, and when I tell you, it was like amazing to see the thing. Let me tell you the thing that tripped me out. It was amazing to me that there was fathers who brought their sons.
Okay.
Because in my mind, I thought I was just going to see women dropping their sons off of women there, but some of the fellas who humbled themselves and said, even though I'm in my son's life, he still needs mentor. Like, that did something to me when I saw that.
Right.
Like, that was
right.
crazy to me.
And we had a kind of watered down day when you came, man. It wasn't real that.
Oh man, so
man.
I ain't got the real deal.
No,
here.
man, you got to come in with that real deal with. I got one out there in the lobby. I'm going to bring it here in a few minutes. I'm going to turn him loose, man. He's a part of the program, man. But, that when you came in there, I think what makes it unique is that it's very surface level. And everything that you heard on television, everything you see on the news, you saw it right there. Real quick, Patrick, man, tell us a little bit how we can reach you, man.
Oh, sure. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at MrPhillipsTheChangeAgent. My website is MrPhillipsTheChangeAgent.com, and my son's website is TheAdventuresOfLittleJam.com, and his Instagram and Facebook and YouTube is The Adventures of Little Jam.
Hey, man, thank you for coming on, man. You keep me inspired, man. Hey, stay tuned to Next Level Radio Show. Hey, it's been a great show tonight. Man, I thank you all so much for tuning in. Just know we're here every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Next Level Radio Show. I see you getting comfortable, man. You laying back in the seat, and I love it when you get comfortable. I wanted to have some quick dialogue. I got a young man who's been waiting around in the lobby for his opportunity. He's no stranger to the Next Level Radio Show. Mars, what's up, man?
What's going on, Code Dave?
Not much, man. Tell us a little bit, real quick, man, like 15 seconds, man. Tell us a little bit about you, man. A little bit about your background, man.
I'd say I had an alright background.
You had an alright
My
background.
mama raised me.
Okay.
And my dad we used to keep contact, but my mama, mostly did everything. But other than that, I just came up in a rough environment and had to adapt to it and try to make the best of it.
Spend a little time behind the wall?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, man.
It was alright.
It was all right. Okay. You want to talk
It was
about
a
that?
learning experience.
A learning experience. When you, Walker, you have heard of so many stories of what young men go through around here, and Morris is a young man that had his moments, man. How does a young man bounce back from going to prison at the age of 17 years old?
Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But culture, man, being in the right culture, right environment. Just sitting here talking with you is part of that right there, that recovery process. Being in an environment where it can be recultivated.
Right. And I know, Patrick, you being from South Central LA, you've had your share of meeting folks who spend a little time. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give a brother like Morris, man, who's kind of like in a stage, a transitional stage in his life, man, still, good guy. What kind of advice would you give him, man?
Don't give up. Don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
We live in a society that doesn't like to give people second chances. We'll let you out and then laugh at you when you can't get a job or get employment, when people don't want to give you opportunities. The other thing I would say, man, is try to create your own opportunities. I heard you outside speaking about your music and some of the things that you're trying to do. So sometimes you might have to start your own.
Right.
Start your own landscaping company. Start your own business.
Right.
If people don't want to give you opportunities, but I would just say don't get discouraged.
Right, and that's a good point, Patrick, because I'm the type of person when people tell me no, I go get my own.
It turns you on.
Yeah, like some of these big fancy radio stations in Atlanta would let me come on because we don't have issues with black boys. So you know what? I get my own show. So then somebody would let me use their building to do my mentoring program. I go get my own building. Somebody wouldn't let me borrow their van, so I go get my own van. We got to create our own opportunities, man. The only time I ask people for something is hoping that they tell me no to motivate me to do it myself. Like, I'm hoping you say no. So you got a brother like Morris to come to your event on Saturday, man.
Yeah.
What would y'all say to a young man like that, man?
I'll try to empower him, man, find out what his dreams, aspiration, what is his vision, and then try to feed him and give him information and to encourage him to pursue it and be relentless about it, man. Have a relentless attitude and be defiant.
Does he remind you of you at any point in your life?
Everything but the braids.
Everything
I
but the braids.
cornrows. So
You had cornrows.
I could then.
Well, obviously, that's been a long time ago. That's been many moons ago. He's a good kid, man. I think that when they know better, they do better.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing is we got to lay the blueprint, man. Work like Patrick is doing. The stuff that you're doing over at your ministry at City of Deliverance. And Morris, he's a kid that he missed some very important learning curves in his life. And I always say, and Pat, you got to remember, man, as you go out into this world of mentoring, when you meet a young man that's 17 years old, you got to dig deep and do 15 years of damage control. So remember, he was damaged for 15 years before he even got to you. So you got to find your way, man, because it's almost like trying to build a house with no foundation. You got a frame, so he's pretty much a frame, there's no foundation. So somehow you got to get up under that house that's already been built, lay a foundation. And sometimes you may not get all the foundation in there. You may get half of it in there, half of the house. But work with that part, man, because every young man, they don't want to be they don't want to have some of the challenges that they have, man. Again, Walker, I think you're doing great things, man. Real quick, man.
Thank you, brother.
Plug us in with City Deliverance, man. Y'all got some contact information out there?
6928 Main Street. You can go to our website at www.codlatonia.com. Find out everything that's going on with us. But on Saturday at 12 noon, you want to be there. It's going to be like nothing you've ever experienced before.
Yes, sir.
It's powerful.
Marsh, anything you want to leave us with, man?
Is it okay if I leave my Instagram?
Yeah, leave your Instagram, man. You drop 1 or 2 bars. You got about 10 seconds to drop some bars, man.
I ain't got no bars.
All right.
But,
leave your Instagram information, man.
yeah, y'all go follow my Instagram, 2thuggin with 2 underscores.
Ah, man, don't come on here with no thugging. Scratch that. Man, don't come on this radio. No, we're not putting no 2 thugging. Hey, listen, we're out of time, man. Listen, it's been a great show. We're here every Thursday night, the Next Ever Radio Show from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Hey, don't forget to follow Next Ever Boys Academy at Instagram, Next Ever Boys Academy on Facebook, and go to our website, www.nexteverbboysacademy.com, where we're changing the generation of young men one community at a time. We'll see you next Thursday. God bless.